Hello and welcome everybody. I I'll just share a little bit with you here that I shared in the newsletter I sent out to everyone this morning. I have been screaming vagus nerve decompression into the wind for so many years, or seemingly into the wind, and it's very exciting to have people really ready to hear more about the vagus nerve. My challenge is that I have taken and advanced my system so far beyond vagus nerve decompression in the physical body that uh, I realize I haven't taught enough of you my language to bring it with me, and so I'm expecting a lot for you to understand what leadership compression points mean, for example, when the fundamentals of this are not there. And I think especially for this time, what's really relevant is how the uh, vagus nerve influences mental health, and how we have so much access to transforming our mental health and our physical health through our bodies, through our vagus nerves. And I really can't emphasize this enough with the mental health piece, that it's not about talking or manipulating your mind, doing mental gymnastics, and often it's not even about mindset techniques. It's really about your body set, what's happening in your body, and creating that flow within your body so you have the flow externally in your life. And for all of the really amazing brain science and research out there, by the time something's measured in your brain, it's already come through your electromagnetic field. It's come into your senses, whether that's through your hearing, your sense of smell, taste, touch, or sight, whether that's through your vagus nerve, or whether that's through through some other environmental cue that you're getting. That there's another piece of your biofield, for example, which I know is a very not a familiar concept to most of you, but that your biofield has the that you're taking in information and you're not really, and your brain's just is really responding and processing it. But that information, when we can really transform the flow of how that information comes into our bodies, we give more flow to the input, then we have better output. When our input is distorted, our output is distorted. And so I'm going to try in this group and in this video, or I'm not going to try, I'm going to do this. I'm going to help you create an understanding and a language of these very, very fundamental concepts that I feel are very fundamental and that I have really used to transform people's health over the years with much more ease than I will say than other practitioners had with them, because as a physical therapist over the years, the bulk of my clientele have been people that have been around the block several times, and they are really struggling with finding the answers to what they're doing. And so when I can get them better in one visit or 6 visits or 6 months or so, depending on the complexity and dynamics of the situation, when they've spent years and years really struggling, there's to me, I'm all about the shortest path to your highest potential. And I just want you to have all the information and possibilities, and to really advance our conversations medically and psychologically into to open up kind of a new science and a new way of problem solving and thinking about things. And so there are many, many exciting applications for this. I've been really hesitant to niche myself because of this, though certainly my sweet spot is with mental health and healthcare professionals, so that because I certainly know the challenges of that, and working in a system and having your own practice, and working with people that are in very complex situations all day long. And so I have a big heart for that. That said, I think that we really have an opportunity to stop a lot of problems before they start by bringing this information into business and design and other fields as well. So please, if you're watching, say hi in the chat. And if you have any questions, please feel free to post those. So I have some notes that I made off to the side here. So if you see me glancing off, it's just because I'm keeping myself on track and from rambling. So I will put a image of the vagus nerve in the Facebook group so that you can see it later. And actually, you know what? I'm new to StreamYard. I can share my screen, so maybe I'll pull up a picture here so that I can show you. So your vagus nerve goes all the way from your brainstem down to your pelvis, and it's your largest peripheral nerve. It sends information mostly up to your brain. Its motor functions are to operate your vocal cords, your heart, and your digestive system muscles. And it's involved in sweating and digestive enzyme, bile production, and things like that. But mostly it's sending messages from most of your organs up to your brain. And so this is a real chance to create flow. And the vagus nerve gets pinched, gets cut off, it loses flow where we have horizontal structures in our body, like our respiratory diaphragm, or the muscle we breathe with is a horizontal muscle. Our pelvic floors are horizontal in the body. And so for me, there are 6 major compression points where the vagus nerve flow can get blocked. And even though I contextualize a lot of this in the vagus through the vagus nerve, and I think that that's a really critical piece of it, when these horizontal structures are blocked, it's not just nerve flow that's been blocked. It's artery flow, vein flow, lymphatic flow, everything that goes vertically in the body, and even energy flow gets blocked with these. This whole concept of vagus nerve compression in the body at these horizontal structures is very consistent with the Chinese medicine concept of qi and blockages in qi flow in the body. And what I find is that this system does not compete with other ideas. It amplifies them and it makes everything better. So this is a huge collaboration that I really want to bring forward. And I'm not looking to take down anybody else's system, but to really see how we can be better and how we can really put ourselves as medical professionals work to really put ourselves out of business so that we really end up doing wellness care and not illness care. Like that would be the best possible situation. And that's really part of where I want to advance the conversation, is into that flow state and pleasure consciousness and feeling good with our bodies. Not that doesn't mean we have to deal with the traumas that we've been through, but that focusing on the traumas to the point that I see a lot of people have been really perseverating on the traumas, where that's the only thing that they're focused on, is sometimes, and I would say very often, isn't serving them at the highest level or getting them better as fast as possible. So I am going to pull up my vagus nerve image here. And this is just my favorite image of it. Okay, and so there's the vagus nerve. So you can see it goes all the way from the brain all the way down into the pelvis. So it's really the whole length of the body. And this is not even really probably all of it. Like this is obviously an antique anatomy book. And I know an electrocardiologist that is involved with the group in mapping the vagus nerve because they don't know everything that it does. And so here, I'm going to stop sharing. And so where we have, so having these horizontal structures open is a really an incredible chance to give us better input into our physical bodies, to amplify what they're called afferent pathways of the vagus nerve, and to and there's a couple things that I'll just say because I know I have them here in my notes and I'm starting to ramble, so I'm going to look at them. That so this input flow is critical, is the first thing that I want to say. So we get the input through senses, through movement, and through environment. And input has three main filters. I will say it's got physical or structural space. It's got a story space, and like the part that I'm dancing around right now that I would say, because when I initially mapped this out, I was like, oh, there's three of them. There's physical, the physical structural space. There's physiological space, because you've got the chemical aspect of the neural communication, and then you have the story, because our story is always, these are the three filters that we get things through. The physiology, though, is really is influenced by our movement and our story. Like, we know through research that posture changes your hormones. We know that talk therapy works really only if it's combined with a body-based intervention, whether that's massage, acupuncture, yoga, some kind of movement. So that you have to have a body component into that. Our body really is our subconscious. It is our consciousness, and it's not a part of our consciousness that we've been very well trained to communicate with. And so when you have your structure plus your story drives your physiology. And so when we change our structure and we change our story, then we change the inputs and outputs from our brain, and we change other biochemical processes in our body. And so I really want everybody to start thinking about the information that's coming in and those pathways that are activated even before it ends up, before the information gets to your brain. And that is the most fundamental place from which to start creating flow. Hi, Diane. Thanks for watching. And so please comment, ask me questions, and I'm going to be talking a lot more in this group. And I hope those of you that are watching on other platforms than Facebook Live, like YouTube and LinkedIn, will join me here as well and comment on those platforms. Thank you so much. You can find out more about what I am doing at melanieweller.com, and I'm updating it all the time. So, and like I said at the beginning, I'm kind of backing up my messaging a little bit to get you guys fluent in my language, so that, and I'm going to talk a lot in the coming weeks, especially with election, pandemic, and holiday stress, about mental health in the physical body and accessing it through the physical body and the vagus nerve. Have a great day, and thank you for watching.